Good morning, friends. It's Mark here, the Tucson personal trainer, where my studio is at Swan and Sunrise. Whether you're here in Tucson or watching across the country or globe, I want you to know this. Real, lasting health transformation starts with consistent action, not with hype, gimmicks, or another quick fix. Today, I'm going to walk you through 5 powerful fundamentals that have helped thousands of people break through plateaus and finally make a fitness a lifestyle. If you're ready to stop guessing and start progressing, this video is for you. First things first, so we're going to set a clear, specific goal. So if you do have access to pen and paper, I encourage you to grab it because you're going to want to write some things down so that you can remember some things. So this is our goal setting exercise we'll do right now together. So if you could wave a realistic magic wand and you could have your body, your health, your energy, any kind of way you wanted it to be over the next year or so, what would that be like for you? Think about it. Get a clear and specific goal. Ideally, narrow it down to a specific body weight and a body fat percentage. Once you have your body weight goal and your body fat percentage goal, let's wrap it up into what I call an affirmation / prayer. And here it is. I am happy and grateful now that I am. Then you state your body weight goal and your body fat percentage goal. I use myself as an example. You just put in your numbers. I am happy and grateful now that I am at least 190 pounds and at or below 10% body fat. Now, once you have that, ideally say it every day, first thing in the morning, as soon as you can, with meaning and feeling and real energy. Now, once you got that mindset, you're working on that mindset, we're going to focus on, it's what I call the 5 fundamentals of fitness, which are training, nutrition, recovery, supplementation, and mindset. And it's important for me, for you to know that you can do these things. Let's look at training. So when it comes to exercise, I encourage you to have some sort of exercise in your life. It doesn't matter if you're doing it at home or a gym. I feel like you just have to improvise to your situation, but ideally go with a blend of some cardiovascular exercise and some strength training exercise. So imagine for a moment that we have a twin engine airplane. We have 2 engines on the airplane. One engine is called cardiovascular. One engine is called strength. Now, if we're flying along on the airplane with those 2 engines, imagine if we only had one engine working. Well, would it be very efficient, right? So I want you to consider having combination of cardiovascular into your program, combination of strength training into your program for that optimal exercise lifestyle. Let's look at nutrition. Imagine for a moment that we want to build a beautiful 2-story house from scratch. And imagine that we only have half the materials necessary to build the house. How far are we going to get? About halfway, right? Part of the way. So the foods that you and I eat on a daily basis are the supplies that goes towards building our body, just like the supplies necessary to build the house. I feel there are basically 4 basic ways that eating affects our body, metabolism, energy levels, blood sugar levels, and blood sugar levels, metabolism, energy, blood sugar, and insulin. Metabolism, energy, blood sugar, and insulin levels. So imagine for a moment that we have a fireplace and we're looking to build a nice fire in the fireplace. Now, on one hand, we have a stack of oak wood, and on the other hand, we have a stack of paper. And not including kindling and getting the fire started, but if we had to choose between the oak wood or the paper to burn in our fireplace, which one would you pick and why? Well, most of us would pick the oak wood, and why? Because it's going to burn longer, slower, more efficiently. Now, what burns more like oak wood? Foods that burn more like oak wood, I feel, are more like fruits, vegetables, whole grains, plant-based proteins like legumes, lentils, nuts, and seeds. They're going to burn really efficiently. If you want to do a little deeper dive into nutrition, I encourage you to watch the documentary The Game Changers. The Game Changers. It's on Netflix and YouTube, and it really breaks down the science about that eating style. And I'd love to get your thoughts on it. But I know you can do it. It doesn't even have to be perfect. If you just mostly do it, you'll get results. So we talked about exercise, nutrition. Now let's look at recovery. So over the last few years, I've trained personally in the personal training. I've trained 3 different neurologists. One's a neuroradiologist, and all their studies, all 3 have said that our bodies should get a range of about 7.5 to 9 hours sleep a night. And then also too, I've just done a lot of personal research. And so what I recommend for myself and my clients and those interested is about that much, 7.5 to 9 hours sleep a night, ideally with 2 hours of REM sleep and 2 hours of deep sleep. Now, how do you do that? Set yourself up for success. Ideally have the same go to bedtime, go to sleep time, and wake up times. I would allow the maximum amount that you are capable of. Another thing you can do is be through eating at least a minimum of 2 hours before sleep time. What that does is when we eat, our metabolism gets boosted. We just talked about that a moment ago. And as you get ready for sleep time, we want a cool body. We don't want a highly metabolized, we want a high heated body. We want to cool our body temperature down best we can as we get ready for sleep time. Also, too, you can discontinue or very limit the blue lights like TVs, laptops, phones, an hour or 2 before bedtime. So, and then also, too, you can go out in the morning sun, get that morning sun exposure. It kind of kicks off your circadian rhythms. And then also, too, at the end of the day, going out to the evening, the early evening, nighttime as well, helps set your circadian rhythms to nice around flow. So we talked about training, nutrition, recovery, supplementation. Now let's look at supplementation. I feel there are basically 2 types of supplementation. The basic 2 types of supplementation are nutritional supplementation and enhancement performance supplementation. Nutritional supplementation, like meal replacement shakes. Enhancement performance supplementation is like creatine. It helps enhance performance, but it's not necessarily doing the macronutrients. Let's look at The last but not least is mindset. So we talked about exercise, nutrition, recovery, supplementation, mindset. Mindset. So with mindset, I feel with fitness, they're basically, that is so important, is the power of your fitness mindset. I remember coming up earlier in bodybuilding in the 80s and reading a lot about Arnold Schwarzenegger. He was one of the big Olympians, bodybuilder. And he would often say, as he was preparing, because I was reading his psychology, because I was fascinated with bodybuilding, and he would often say how he could see himself up on the stage winning his competitions months before it ever happened. He would visualize himself. He'd see himself getting the trophy, winning, and all that. But he'd see it mentally before it ever happened. So I encourage you to do the same thing. See yourself taking those walks you want to take, wearing those kind of clothes you want to wear. See yourself in different situations in the shape and health that you want to be in. Remember, you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be consistent. The 5 fundamentals I shared today, training, nutrition, recovery, supplementation, and mindset, are your foundation, no matter where you're starting from. If you want support, guidance, or a custom plan, download my free app, Workouts for All. That's the workouts and then the number 4, ALL. It's in the App Store with the Google or with the Apple Store Connect Store, and it's also in the Google Play. So if you have Android or Apple, you go into the search term, and it's a free download. It's intended to help you with workouts. Every week, I'm going to be adding more workouts every week and more resources. So you search for the app, you search for Workouts, the number 4, ALL, and you'll see this logo. There you go. Right there. So you know it's me and not a faker. And if you're ready to go deeper, whether you're in Tucson or across the world, message me. Let's build something real. Your future self is already thanking you for starting today. Be blessed, and I'll see you next time. My times are changing on the post a little bit. It's going to be Tuesday and Thursday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Trying to find the right time. I just had a client, we changed around sometimes, and I had to go that way. I want to do it earlier, but that's where it is. If you have any feedback on that, let me know. And Sunday, like today, my goal is to come at you at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And this YouTube is fitness and finance. If you're interested in any of that, I do market updates. I did one this morning, but then Monday through Friday will be very early, like 4 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And remember that health is wealth. Without our health, what difference does it make what earthly possessions we have? Health is wealth. Cash flow is king. We used to say cash is king. Now it's cash flow is king. So health is wealth. Cash flow is king. Credit is freedom. Health is wealth. Cash flow is king. Credit is freedom. Keep that in mind. Be blessed, and see you on the next one. Bye for now.